On this episode of Leslie and Castelnaudary, a few home renovation updates that'll inspire you to get wild, and a fun, creative, low-cost upcycling craft that you could do at your own home. So step inside my home creative workshop and let's get crafting. This home project is our second floor landing, which has an old crusty ceiling with cracks in it, this Venetian painted mauve texture, which we like the texture, but the color was gross. And then you have this weird sticker vinyl plank glued onto another set of floors, which was just really annoying. So Frank had to tear them out and we had to get going to make this space look more bright and alive. It was very kind of dead. So we had the new floors installed, which matched the first floor. Had the walls painted. I like the texture, so we painted the walls white to match the downstairs. And then we had him correct the ceiling and paint it a nice, bright, glossy white. And we were able to brighten up the space just with some paint alone. But now we have the finished result, which is new baseboards, lots of art, bright colors, a new lighting. And I just feel that this space is just a fun and funky space. I love animals. I love nature. I love a mix of modern with classic. And we applied that theme into this bathroom, toilet room renovation. And so you see, I put in this jungle theme in here. I had this old wallpaper in a tube that I had for many, many years in a closet. I didn't know why I bought it. And when we moved here and I saw this water closet, I thought this is the perfect space to make a boring space alive. Put in a new lighting, new floors, new baseboards, curtains, painted the ceilings, and then we put in the wallpaper, and I ordered a brand new custom toilet with a bidet. And it took some time to get the toilet. It was a custom order, but it's worth it. And now you're going to join me in my creative craft room. This is where my kids come to play. We do crafts together, Legos, painting, all sorts of creative work. And I just like to come in here and paint and sew and do beading work. Anything to inspire my imagination and just to get into a creative, meditative state. I like to craft. I don't do it all the time, but I feel with this space, I'm going to do a lot more creative crafts. And I think that when you do a creative craft, it just gets you into a meditative state and you're able to focus your mind and clear your emotions. Here I'm doing a paint by numbers, something that I like to do just to do something with my hands while I'm working something out in my mind. It could be a problem, and I want to replace it with a positive, constructive thought, and I just sit there in a meditative state and I start creating in my mind as my hands are moving and I'm just focused. I really feel that if you're not classically creative, you can always do a paint by numbers and have something fun and beautiful.
Today we're going to make a fun and simple, reusable, upcycling craft that I'm going to use in my guest room. So when you have a guest room, it's a space that you don't use all the time. But according to Feng Shui principles, you do want to have something in that room that gives it life. The reason why is that you don't want the energy to become stale. And then when somebody who's visiting comes in, they feel that sense of, oh, this is a leftover spare room and I'm kind of put away with the rest of the unwanted things. So we don't want our guests to feel that they're unwanted. We want to create this sense of it's a fresh bedroom, it's a fresh space, and it's alive and it's living. And you want to give your guest this sense of feeling fresh and on the move and on the go. So, what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to make a water plant. And the reason why we make a water plant is that if you have a regular plant and it's a guest room and you're not there every day, you're going to lose track of how often the plant gets watered. And if it's not watered every day, then guess what? It'll die, and you don't want death energy in that space. So what we're going to do is we're going to upcycle a vase, and this I got for my birthday from a friend who gave me a bouquet. We're going to fill it with water. I got some pothos from my gym, and I just cut it down to the nubs where there's the seed, there is the root coming out, and I trim down 4 pieces, just like that, and remove the lower leaves. Now, how are we going to keep the water inside and keep it from evaporating? Well, we're going to take a piece of styrofoam, we're going to cut it to shape, and then we're going to take a pencil and just stab a little hole, and you're going to put this in. And this will help the water from evaporating, and you only have to check it every few weeks instead of every couple of days. So you ready to join me? It's a very easy project, and it will only cost you a few bucks. So now that we have our vase with the hole and the styrofoam, which I kind of cut at an angle, if you see here. I kind of cut it at a nice little angle. So that way you can fit it in and it'll be level. So all you're going to do is you're just going to stick in your plant right through the hole, right into the ground, right into the water, I mean, not the ground. And then I'm going to leave it like that. Let's see, let's put it in this way. There we go. Let's see. Maybe I'll put it, well, no. I guess you can kind of put it both ways. It doesn't really matter. I think I'll put it this way. Let's cut that down. Gonna make the hole a little bit bigger. And there you go. And eventually this will grow out and you can shape it and make it look nice. And you just play with that and check on the water. I put a clear one so I could tell how much water is left in here, but just with enough seagrass so it kind of creates a cover so you're not looking at kind of old moldy water. But we put it in just like that. And here we go. This is a very affordable way to upcycle what you already have. You could use a jar if you wanted, packing styrofoam, and a few pothos or any other water plant like a spider plant. That could be good too. Or even kind of like water lilies or anything you want. But this is just a great way to upcycle and to put life in a room without having to look too much into how much water is in your plants. You want that living energy in your guest space. So come on and let's put this in the guest room. So we're very lucky that we have a brand new skylight in this guest room. We had to replace it when we first moved in, and we have lots of natural, gorgeous light in this space. So in order to capitalize on that natural light, I'm going to put this pothos right here. So that way it's out of the way of our guests. And then if we want, we can move it somewhere else. But we'll have enough light from here, indirect light, and it will come here and then it will grow down nicely. So we're just going to leave that there and enjoy its beauty.
I think this plant adds a nice living touch to this guest room space. I do believe that when you travel and you get goodies from all over, like posters and magnets and seashells and postcards and signs from all the wonderful places you've been, it's a great way to design a guest room. It takes their mind in all wonderful places. Here's my magnet collection, posters and art that I've gotten from places all over the world, places that I love. And this space is a cozy, warm, bright space for a guest to enjoy. rest and recuperate when they go on their adventures. I hope you like this craft and it inspires you in your life. Thanks for joining me.